Hi everyone, I'm Danielle McCartan for GALvanize and its brand new Who Not Do series. Today's guest is an NFL insider, family man, and an avid baseball card collector. Jason Canfora, thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So we all know what you do and how over 500,000 people hang on to every one of your tweets. But if I really wanted to get to know you, Jason, what would I need to know and where would I start?
You'd start in East Baltimore, where I grew up, where we still live, 8 miles probably from my mom's house and my dad. They've been in the same row home in an area of Baltimore called Highlandtown I'm 46, so they've been in that house for about 47 and a half years. So we would go across the street to Patterson Park, and that's where I grew up, playing sports. I could jump on the number 10 bus and go downtown and watch the Orioles at Camden Yards. Before they were at Camden Yards, I'd walk 4 blocks in the other direction, catch the number 22 bus, and go to see the Colts or go to see the Orioles at Memorial Stadium. It was land of milk and honey. There was always something going on. There was always somebody who wanted to play catch or throw a football around, or we'd play pickup soccer all over the city. And I felt like the world was my oyster because everything you could want as a kid at that time, you had. And now, I got to accomplish one of my goals, which was to host a sports talk show here, which we started in March, right as sports started going away. But eventually we will do a show that leads directly into Orioles baseball on 105.7 The Fan. My fingers are crossed. Eventually, it won't be tonight. It might not be tomorrow because of what's going on with the Marlins and the Orioles as we speak. But yeah, I feel like that this place is in my heart, and I love the chance to be an advocate for the city.
We were originally supposed to connect on Sunday, but as the viewers know, especially in my area of the country, New Jersey, Sunday dinners are very important to Italians. So, La Canfora, I have to ask you, parli italiano?
Oh, no, I'm Italian and Polish. So my mom's maiden name is Matuszak. She's Polish and Lithuanian. My dad's side is all Italian, some from the north, some from the south. So we would do 2 Thanksgivings. So we would have one at my mom's house, and that would be like traditional Thanksgiving, but also, a lot of Slavic dishes. And then we'd go to my dad's mom's house, and she couldn't resist. Like even the year she was the second Thanksgiving, and we're like, Nana, we're going to be stuffed before we even get there. And it would be a whole Italian, homemade gnocchi or whatever. So yes, that was definitely a big part of growing up. My dad's parents lived very close to Memorial Stadium. So I would go to a lot of games with my pop, like regularly, like my dad had to work or whatever. Like my grandmom would make these massive, like Italian subs, or she'd make massive, like chicken parm subs. And we would go into the Memorial Stadium just with a cooler full of like obscene amounts of food and, watch the Orioles or the Colts or whatever.
Now, I was supposed to go on an extended family trip to Italy yesterday, and wow. I show you, I was replanning it, if you could see that.
Oh, my goodness.
Last night, I was replanning it. So, it's not a big deal. We're all healthy and everything. But because of the virus, what is something that you are or were sort of grappling with in your own home?
There's a lot. We have 3 kids in 3 different schools. My wife's a teacher, so all 3 schools are Catholic, so they're all within the boundaries of the Archdiocese of Maryland. So we're getting our sort of marching orders from the Archdiocese. There seems to be, at least for now, a lot of leeway how much you want to opt into. What are the risks? What aren't the risks? Watching my little guy last night play his first travel exhibition game. And, you're kind of looking around like, are the parents staying away? Like, and when somebody goes to talk to their kid at the dugout, like, are they putting their mask on? And like, I was the only person sitting there the entire time with a mask on. And I'm kind of like, why couldn't everybody just sit here and wear a mask? I don't know how you can cover a sport at this point, like I do football, and not have what's going on in this moment in time sort of color everything you do. Like that's the backdrop for almost every story I write. At some point, I feel like there's a paragraph in there that sort of links it to what's going on, and this is happening and that's happening, and it's the world we're living in.
You're an insider. So how do you kind of balance, and maybe effectively manage those circles of trust between your roles in TV and radio and even writing?
Well,
Yeah.
it hasn't really been a thing yet because there was no NFL offseason. You know what I mean? I guess when we had some events, we had the draft, we had free agency. I'm certainly going to have to be more creative in when I reach out to people and when I do some of my reporting, because from 2 to 6, I'm pretty tied up every day. But the fall is going to be different for me. I'm interested to see where my reporting goes. Like when I'm talking to, Drew Kaliski at the beginning of a week, like how like the show can't be all about this, but like, I don't know how you escape it either, unless you're 115 years old. No one on the planet's seen anything like this before.
And even then, it's still not the same as it was.
Yes, very different world.
So my cousin is a huge baseball card tops, and he gave me a set from 1988 when I was born. I don't make you feel old at all, but they're a Yankees set because we're Yankees fans here.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna kind of I saw this on a Mets broadcast once, and if you could tell me just one little anecdote of going to all the games or something and seeing.
Well, 88, I would have still been. So 88, I'm 14. I would have still been going down. So like the Yankees would stay at a hotel called Cross Keys for a while when the Orioles were at Memorial Stadium. They eventually moved downtown. But if it's 88, I definitely would have interacted with some of these dudes, either at the ballpark trying to get their autograph or at the team hotel at Cross Keys. So,
all right, so let's do like one or two.
This was not a legendary Yankees team, by the way.
No, we know that.
Like the Danny Tartable, like Ken Phelps years.
No, I guess we'll start her easy then. Downey baseball.
Yeah, I mean, it's when I was in the mid 80s as someone who was getting into baseball collecting then. And if you're big in New York, you dominate the market. Like I can remember, the 84, Fleer, Don Mattingly card being like one of the holy grails. I always felt he was kind of like, as a kid, overrated because the power numbers weren't really there. And then what was it, 87, the year that like everybody hit bombs? I think he might have hit I feel like there was a year where he hit 35 or 40. But I always felt like he was kind of overrated because he's a Yankee. And we don't like Yankees around here very much. But a really good dude, like a great guy. I've never heard anything but good things about him. He would sign. I remember getting his autograph. All my autographs got stolen. My house got broken into twice years ago. So all that stuff's gone, which is part of the reason I got back into it, because all this cool stuff I thought I'd have for my boys got stolen. So now that there's been no baseball the last 5 months, or not regular baseball, at least for the Orioles, that's kind of why I got back into it, to see if I can build a collection up for my kids that way, since all the stuff I wanted to give them basically got stolen. And they eventually caught them, and I got my high school ring back.
Oh, good.
But they got all my individual cards and all my autograph cards and pictures. They didn't get my autograph balls and my complete sets because they were at my parents' house. But yeah.
Oh.
Hey, stuff happens.
I know. All right, let's do one more. You want beginning of the pack, middle of the pack, or end?
Random. Let's go middle.
Middle. All right. Oh, Mike Pagliarulo.
Yeah, I mean, spunky middle infielder. Yeah, good dude. He would sign for kids. The guys on those teams who you would have run-ins with were like Ricky. Ricky was tough.
Yeah.
Dave Winfield could be tough. I mean, Reggie was gone by then, but Reggie was very tough. But you would hear stories you talk to people at the hotel, you talk to somebody at the front desk or whatever.
Yeah.
And they would tell stories about from the early 80s when the team stayed there.
Well, Jason, we could talk all day. I just wanted to
sure.
Just want to end with this question here. You've dedicated your whole career to kind of telling other people's stories. How comfortable today were you taking off your NFL insider cap and talking with me today?
I'd rather talk about people, other than myself. But no, I'm fine, man. Anything I can do to help, you've got my contact info. In terms of other jobs or, anything about your broadcast or whatever. I've only been doing the radio thing for a few months, so I'm certainly still a novice myself. But now I'm happy to be an advocate in any way I can.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your time today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Danielle.